Lesson 7 is called Convert Between Systems. So what we are looking at here is how do we convert from one system of measurement to another system of measurement. And we talked a bit about this earlier in the year on how there were two. There's the standard system that we use here, the English standard system, and then there's the metric system that they use internationally. So we're going to look at how you get from one to another. So 5K race says to raise money for a healthcare organization, the Matthews family is participating in a 5K race. A 5K race is 5 kilometers. How many meters long is the race? Well, if you recall, we know that King Henry died by drinking chocolate milk. And we said if we know the first letter in every single one of those words, that can help us convert metric units. So we are at kilometers, which is the K, and we are going down to meters, which is actually our base. So that's 1, 2, 3 moves to the right. So I'm just going to take my 5 kilometers, find my decimal point, move that decimal 1, 2, 3 units to the right. I can fill in zeros there. So I know that 5 kilometers is 5,000 meters. Which is pretty simple enough. Like we said, that's a really cool and easy way to convert your metric units from one measurement to another. But what if we want to know how far that is in miles? All right, well, we know that 1 mile is approximately 1.6 kilometers. So how many miles is the race? So essentially we're saying, well, in 5, how many groups of 1.6 do we have? So in order to do that, we want to divide, because dividing breaks something up into a number of groups. So we're going to take our 5 kilometers, we're going to divide it by 1.6 to see how many groups of 1.6 are in that 5, and that tells us that we have about 3.125 of those 1.6s, and every one of those 1.6 kilometers is equal to 1 mile, so this is 3.125 miles. A kilometer is a unit of length in the metric measurement system. A mile is a measure of length in the customary measurement system. Write the following units of length under the correct measurement system. So they've given us a handful of measurements: centimeter, foot, inch, meter, millimeter, and yard. We got to put them in the correct column. Which ones are metric units and which ones are customary units? Well, centimeter, first one here, that is a metric. Foot, that's a customary. Inch, that's another customary. That's one we use. Meter, that's over here in metric. Millimeter, that's another metric. And then lastly, yard obviously has to be customary. So you can already tell just by looking at it why the metric system is a little easier to comprehend. They all, for measurement of length, are based on this meter. They just change the prefix, whereas in our customary, we use completely different words for every single measurement. Convert between measurement systems. So it says you can multiply by fractions to convert between customary and metric units. The table below lists common customary and metric relationships. So you're going to need to dog-ear this page or put a sticker in it or a bookmark or something, because this is one you're going to need to refer back to a lot in this lesson. So this tells you how many customary units are equal to how many of its metric counterparts. So for example, if we're looking at length, 1 inch is equal to about 2.54 centimeters. Now these are about because they're all rounded to make them usable. Sometimes they're big, long, ugly decimals that are not real friendly. 1 foot is about 3/10 of a meter, 1 yard is about 91/100 of a meter, and 1 mile is about 1.61 kilometers. So you can see, and that goes into weight and mass and capacity. So you're going to have to refer back to this quite a bit. All right, so like I said, be ready to go back to that. So number 1 says convert 7.22 inches to centimeters. All right, we're going to round to the nearest hundredth if necessary. So the first thing I'm looking at here is we're going from inches to centimeters. So I'm going to go back up to my table, and I'm going to find inches, which are right here, and centimeters, which are right here. And I'm going to bring that down, and I'm going to write that down here and say that 1 inch, all right, is equal to 2.54 centimeters. And this is what you should be doing for every single problem in this unit. Get that first conversion down right in front of you so you can use that as you need it. All right. So basically, we're saying we have 17.22 inches. How many centimeters is that? All right. So if 2.54 centimeters is 1 inch, then essentially we want to take every single one of those inches is equal to 2.54 centimeters. All right, so if we have 17.22 inches and every one of them is actually 2.54 centimeters, that means we have 2.54, 2.54, 2.54, 17.22 times. So how do we add 2.54, 17.22 times over and over and over again? Well, that's multiplication. So we're simply going to take that 17.22 and multiply it by 2.54 centimeters. And that is going to come out to be about 43.7388 centimeters. And I say about because we do a little bit of rounding in there. So that means 17.22 inches is about 43.74, and I'll round that to the hundredth, centimeters. Number 2, we're going to convert 5 kilometers to miles. It says round to the nearest hundredth if necessary. So let's go over here again. Let's find miles. 1 mile is 1.61 kilometers. I'm going to go down here and write that in. 1 mile equals 1.61 kilometers. All right, so I have that to work with. So I've got 5 kilometers. So I know that every 1.61 kilometers is equal to a mile. So I want to ask myself, if I have 5 kilometers, how many groups of 1.61 do I have? Well, that's a division problem. So we simply do 5 divided by 1.61. All right, and that's going to give us about 3.11 miles. All right, 3.11 miles. So what do we have? 5 kilometers is equal to about 3.11 miles. So it's not too bad as long as you keep track of those units. All right, so number 3, we're going to convert 8.28.5 milliliters to cups. So we're going to round this to the nearest hundredth as well. So we're going milliliters to cups. So again, go back to my table, and I'm looking for cups and milliliters. So it's about 236.59 milliliters per cup. So 1 cup is equal to 236.59 milliliters. All right. So I'm going from milliliters to cups. I've got 828.5 milliliters. So every 236.59 of those milliliters gives me 1 cup. So how many 236.59s do I have in that 828? Well, that's a division problem. So again, 828.5 divided by 236.59. All right, so that tells me every one of these 236.59 is a cup. So how many of those are in that 828.5? So I go ahead and I divide all those out, and I get about 3.50-ish, about. So that tells me that 828.5 milliliters is equal to about 3.5 cups. Number 4, I'm going to convert 3.4 quarts into milliliters this time. So we're going to round to the nearest hundredth. Well, again, like I keep doing, we're going to refer back to my chart. This time I'm doing quarts, and I'm converting that to milliliters. So that's 946.35 milliliters. So I come back here. 1 quart is equal to 946.35 milliliters. So I need that. That's my conversion. All right, so I've got 3.4 quarts. So every single one of those quarts is 946.35 milliliters. So that's 946.35 3.4 times. So I hear that word times, I think multiplication. So I'm simply going to do 3.4 times 946.35 milliliters. So all I got to do is multiply those two out, and I get a big old number. I get 3,217.59 milliliters. So that tells me that 3.4 quarts is equal to 3,217.59 milliliters. All right, so 4.25 kilograms to pounds. This time we're going to round that to the nearest hundredth if necessary, which we've done before. So we're going kilograms to pounds. So back up to the good old chart, find kilograms, which is over here. 907.2 is equal to, oh, nope, that's for tons. I want this one, 0.4536 to pounds. So 1 pound is equal to 0.4536 kilograms. All right, so 1 pound is equal to 0.4536 kilograms. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you a different way to do this. I'm going to show you how to use a proportion to do this. All right, now proportion's nice because you can set it up like this any single time. So if we know that 1 pound, I'm going to make a comparison, is equal to 0.4536 kilograms, I can set it up to an equal comparison, an equivalent comparison, where I know that I have 4.25 kilograms. Notice how I have kilograms both in the denominator. And then I want to know how many pounds that is. How many pounds is that? All right, so if 1 pound is 0.4536 kilograms, that means how many unknown pounds is equal to 4.25? Well, I can do cross multiplication here. All right, so x times 0.4536 is 0.4536x, and then I cross multiply 1 times 4.25, that gives me 4.25. And then I simply divide by the number being multiplied by my variable. They cancel out. That leaves me with x as 9.37 pounds. And you can do that for any one of those previous problems too. Just set it up as a proportion. All you got to do is start with your conversion factor they give you, and then make sure you set it equal to a ratio where it's the same unit on the top and the same unit on the bottom as it is on the left. Last example says an Olympic-sized swimming pool is 50 meters long. How many feet long is this? So as I've done every time, I'm going to go back up to my conversion chart, and I'm doing feet. Oh, I went one too far. Feet to meters. So 1 foot is equal to 0.30 meters. So I'm going to write that down. 1 foot is equal to 0.30 meters. All right, I'm going to use that proportion I talked about again before. So I know that 1 foot is equal to 0.30 meters. I know that. So now I'm going to set up my other proportion exactly the same way. How many feet do I have? Well, I don't know. I want to know how many feet the pool is. So that's my unknown. But I do know I have 50 meters. So cross multiply. X times 0.30 is 0.30x. 1 times 50 gives me 50. I'll just divide by whatever is being multiplied by my variable. And I ultimately find that x is equal to 166.67 feet. So that's how long the swimming pool is. All right, so we don't have any guided practice on this one. So on the independent practice, I want you guys to do 1, 2, 3, and then come on down here and we'll do number 10. And then we'll talk about those tomorrow. Thanks, guys.